Today we are going to talk about an anime that is set in medieval times, where a badass who wields a giant sword fights monsters while trying to keep themselves from becoming one. Oh, you thought I was talking about this? Oh, no. Everyone and their mother has talked about Berserk. I mean, God knows that Berserk videos on YouTube are a genre of its own. But seriously though, rest in peace Mira, it was a shame that you weren't able to complete your masterpiece. No, today I'm actually here to review something that's not on a lot of people's radars. Based on the manga by Norihiro Yaki, who also created Angel Densetsu, you know that one anime where the kid who looks like a monster but is actually the sweetest person you'll ever meet? Which I should review on a later date. Now at first glance, Claymore just may look like a female ripoff of Berserk. But I can guarantee you there's a lot more to this series than meets the eye. So is Claymore worth your time? Well, sit around, get out your swords, and let's find out. So, what's the plot? So in this world, monsters called Yoma eat humans. Here, a mysterious organization sends in blonde, silver-eyed Amazon warriors who are half Yoma themselves to kill the beast. However, because they don't have an official name, the warriors are called Claymores, probably because of the swords they wield. One Claymore by the name of Claire comes to hunt a Yoma. She meets a boy named Rocky whose family were killed by the Yoma. With nowhere else to go, Rocky accompanies Claire on her journey. Later, Claire must soon face against these species of super Yoma called awakened beings. She then meets up with other Claymores to fight the awakened beings, all the while trying to keep herself from becoming a Yoma. So you may be asking, what's the good? Well, for starters, the story just sucks you right in. As I mentioned before, at first glance this does look like a Berserk ripoff. But Claymore is so unique in its own way that it manages to stand on its own. There are so many twists and turns along with interesting story elements that I'll go into more detail about them later on. Now the animation and art style here is amazing. It's clear, it's beautiful to look at, and the fight scenes are just awesome and leave you on the edge of your seat. Not to mention it gets brutal and bloody. Now granted, it's not into too much gore level, but it's still intense. The animation was done by Studio Madhouse, which if you're an anime fan, you're very familiar with them and know how good they can be. But for those who are not aware, Studio Madhouse were responsible for animating rather amazing animes such as Death Note, Black Lagoon, the 2011 Hunter x Hunter, and the first season of One Punch Man. And like with those aforementioned series, they do a great job here. Now the characters are also great. Our main heroine Claire at first seems bland and emotionless, but over time we see her grow. She's very loyal to those she considers friends, and when fighting she tries her best not to overuse her power for the risk that she will become a Yoma, yet she must use more of it in order to protect those she loves. And we get to see why Claire became a Claymore in the first place, to avenge the closest thing she had to a mother. You see, Claire was rescued by a Claymore named Teresa, who, mind you, is fucking hot. Now in the series they say her body is disgusting, but I do not care. I'm going after that. I want my tall Amazon warrior goddess, right?
Calm down, son. It's just a drawing, not the real thing.
At first, Teresa wanted nothing to do with Claire, but later grew to love her. So much so that she broke the one rule that a Claymore must follow. Never kill a human after seeing her adopted daughter being attacked by bandits. This led to the organization trying to hunt her down, and she was killed by a fellow Claymore named Priscilla who became an awakened being. So because of this, Claire spent her life trying to get her revenge. Then we have Rocky. The thing about Rocky is I have mixed views on him, and at first glance you may not like him either. Mainly because his voice in the English dub is kind of annoying.
Please, Claire, what's the real reason you're out here? Tell me. You didn't come all the way out here to become a Yoma, did you? Shut the fuck up!
All joking aside, the thing about Rocky is that in a way he's kind of like Claire. Like Claire, Rocky's family was killed by a Yoma and was rescued by a Claymore. But with no family and being rejected by his village, he was taken under Claire's wing, similar to how Teresa took in Claire. Rocky reminds Claire of her humanity and wants to get stronger just to protect her, and despite everything that happened, he believes in the good in almost everyone. Because of his love and heart, it helps Claire spread this compassion to the other Claymores. Speaking of which, we have the other Claymores such as Miria, Deneva, Helen, and Jean, which each having their own personality. Miria is one of the top ranked warriors and tactician who wants vengeance on the organization that made her the monster that she is. Deneva is more stoic, while Helen is more of a jokester and loudmouth. And finally Jean, who is a late addition, is bound by a code of honor. At first, they really don't care much for Claire as she's the lowest ranking warrior of the Claymores, but after seeing her fight and even saving their lives on many occasions, they grow to respect and even put their lives on the line just to save her. Like Claire, these Claymores all became awakened beings, and because of that, they share a bonded hatred for the organization as they feel as they're trying to get rid of them just for coming back from being awakened, and all the things that the organization did to them. You see, Claire was the only one who volunteered to become a Claymore. The rest were forced into it, thus they feel like the organization stole their lives. Then we have the mysterious organization themselves. They're really shady with their own rules and regulations that seem unfair and have their own agenda, with a scrawny man in black representing them. Then there are the various enemies that Claire fights against. My favorite has to be Ophelia. Ranked number 4 in the organization, Ophelia is a playful yet sadistic one who will kill for fun, even humans, despite it going against the rules. She is willing to play dirty and resorts to tricks in order to achieve victory. My favorite thing she ever did was this.
Work on your legs. I'll take care of him. You must hurry. We don't have much time. I know you can do it. I'm sure you've noticed that's not an ordinary awakened being. Our only chance is to join forces if we hope to have the smallest prayer of defeating it. Now hurry! I'm just kidding.
Oh, you bitch! And when she awakens, she is terrifying, yet still plays for the food, which ends up being her downfall. Another one of my favorite is Riffle of the West. She is part of the top 3 awakened beings called the Creatures of the Abyss, or the Abyssal Ones depending on your version, who have conquered their own pieces of territory. Her favorite pastime is to torture other Claymores so they can awaken and become her pawns. Honestly, this bitch is creepy as all hell, and her awakened form is also horrifying. But the main threat is Priscilla. As mentioned before, Priscilla was originally a Claymore who awakened and killed Teresa. The thing is, when she's in her human form, she's a little girl who's quite meek and scared, only for her to reveal her true form as callous and apathetic. It's really kind of eerie when you think about it. Speaking of which, I really gotta talk about the designs for the awakened beings. And I love these designs. They're so awesome yet terrifying. They remind me of something that would come out of Devilman. The very monstrous designs are really creative and just really was something that was done right. By the way, almost every female awakened being's human form is a creepy teenage girl. It's quite unsettling. Also, I don't do the stupid dubs versus subs debate here. Both versions are great, choose the one you prefer. Though I will admit the English dub does have its issues, especially since they use the same male voice actors over and over again. And usually that's fine, but it's the same actors using different pitches. After all, there's so many times you can hear Chris Sabat or Top Hoppercorn many times. And again, do I gotta remind you of Rocky's voice?
My ears can only bleed so much!
That being said, if I were to say my biggest gripe, it would be its ending. You see, despite an awesome final battle between a near-awakened Claire and Priscilla, the ending leaves a lot of questions to be asked and doesn't tie up a lot of loose ends. And I'd be lying if I say some things didn't leave me confused. This is because that the amount that was adapted were from the first 11 volumes of Claymore. From what I've heard, the reason why the anime never continued was because Claymore wasn't all that popular in Japan, so demand for more wasn't all there. Plus, the final episode of the anime in the chapter that adapted literally came out during the same time, with Claymore changing its release schedule from being a weekly manga to a monthly. And because of that, new material would not come out for a while, thus having little interest that would end up fading out. With the manga finally concluding in 2014. So, me wanting more, I do what I usually do in this situation. I decided to read the manga.
Read, nigga! Read!
So, what's the deal with the manga? Well, a lot happens. After an epic battle, Claire and 6 other Claymores fake their own death so they can get off the organization's radar. 7 years pass and they're stronger than ever, however, there's a war between the 3 main creatures of the Abyss. It is then revealed that the organizations were the ones that actually created the Yoma, and the Claymores are actually experiments, people who were turned to monsters to be weapons for a war that's occurring in a faraway land. And to top it all off, Claire's handler, Rubel, the one who gave her all the missions, is revealed to be a spy for an enemy country and is actually playing both sides. All the while, the organization has created zombies of dead Claymores to use as weapons against the awakened beings. Also, Rocket got buff, like, god damn, puberty hit this kid like a truck!
Oh no, he's hot!
Miria leads a rebellion against the organization, alliances change as Yoma and Claymore have to work together in order to beat Priscilla, and Claire finally awakens only to reveal that her awakened form is Teresa herself, who gets revenge on Priscilla, and it's all so amazing. Yagi's artwork improves greatly with pictures so detailed and beautiful that it's a shame that he isn't considered one of the greatest modern manga artists. Sure, there are areas where he cuts corners, and there are moments where you'll probably get some of the Claymores confused due to how similar they're drawn, but if you try to pay attention, you'll get an idea on who's who. So yeah, the Claymore manga is actually pretty good, and I recommend you read it after watching the anime. Because of this, many fans to this day are hoping for a season 2, but I don't think it's gonna happen, especially with how much time has passed. But for that same exact reason, I do think it deserves a remake. I say give it the same treatment as Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Hellsing Ultimate. No, not that one. But yeah, give this a great remake, put it on Netflix, and I guarantee you an instant success there. Overall, Claymore is a very underrated gem. Despite looking like a female Berserk knockoff, it actually managed to hold on its own, with awesome characters, beautiful artwork, and a great story. And lucky for you guys, both the Japanese and English version is actually available on YouTube. So if watching won't be an issue for most of you guys. Unless it's blocked in your specific region, then we may have a little bit of an issue. So yeah, when you get a chance, please go watch Claymore, and after watching the anime, please go read the manga. I guarantee you, you will not regret it.
Let's commemorate our reunion.